Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today we are going to be looking at using stencils and creating a bit of a story using the stencils. So the stencils I am using are from the lovely Niamh, who's an Australian shopkeeper, artist, designer, has her own business, and she has been designing a lot of her own products recently, which includes these stencils. So I have been playing around with them because I do love them. As if you've been following my channel for a while, you do know I like a good face stencil, and she's released 4 new face stencils, so I was all over that. I'm just starting off in my journal. This is a bit of a used up page. It had a lot of ink and paint and mess on it, so I'm just going in and adding some more over the top. I put down a little bit of collage with that dotty paper, and then I am just putting down some colours in the background. I didn't really have, apart from using the stencils, I didn't really have a plan of what the background was going to look like, so I was just playing around basically. I did want to cover that big black bit up a little bit because it was a bit too in my face, so I decided to put a little bit more paint on, and then you can see me rubbing it off. So again, all the stencils I'm using here are Niamh stencils. This one I think flower. This one was a new one which I'm really enjoying because it's just so versatile, and just doing a little bit of ghosting in the background. So I knew I was going to put 2 quite big face stencils on it, so I didn't have to do too much in the background. I knew it was going to be covered over in some way. Now I'm just going in with some text because I love a bit of text on my pages, and stamping it into the background. See me tap my fingers going, is it finished? Is it not finished? Am I going to do anything more on it? So this is the first stencil. You can see, never been used before, and I am just placing it on, and I'm using some black gesso to go through the stencil. I'm also using some of the stencil below to create a little bit of a body. The great thing about these stencils is not only has it got the face stencils at the top, it's got some of these mark making bits at the bottom, which are really, really handy. With this one, I decided I'm sort of telling a story, and I just really love the sort of that mother and child type effect that these 2 stencils together gave. So you've got the kid not sure what she's doing, and you've got the mum sort of hanging over the back, sort of helping to guide or support, whatever you sort of envisage that happening. So for this, mum's got a very long neck. I was going to put in a body, but I just wanted to leave a little bit of a gap, so there was, you know, that mum's not so in the kids' space. The kid's got a little bit of room to move, so to speak. Once I've stenciled it out, now I'm going to do something completely random and paint all over it. So this is one of the great things about using stencils as opposed to drawing yourself, because you've got the shape there given to you, then you can paint over it, and then you can re-stencil over the top to make it really, really sharp. But you still can sort of see where bits and pieces are underneath, so you can do your shading. So it's a really handy way if you're still learning how to do faces and shading and so on, that you can play around in sort of a really safe environment. Same with the hair. You can see there I'm painting in colours. I know I'm going to be stenciling over the top of it again, so what I'm going to get is this, you know, these gorgeous highlights in the hair really, really easily. So again, you can sort of see me drying off as I go along, so helping to build up those layers. Next, I'm going in with some blushing to do some shadows on the face. While I am using quite a thin brush, it's possibly a little bit too thin, so I was using my finger to sort of blend them out. Same with the face and so on. So anywhere I figured I needed a bit of shadow, that's what I'm going in with my that darker pink colour over the top. Now I'm going to go back in and re-stencil. So I'm just lining up with my original stenciling and going back through with the black again, and you'll just see how that sort of sharpens it all up. I've got the shading in the background, but I've really easily transformed my page again and put my stenciling in, so it really brings them to life. So if you haven't used face stencils, I would highly, highly, highly recommend using them because they are really useful. Now I'm going in and painting in my body. Yellow paint's always a bit tricky because it is quite transparent. So if you do want it to be darker, I would suggest you use a white underneath it. But again, because I had that stenciling in the background, I wasn't too concerned about it. I knew that I could re-stencil like I did with my face painting as well. So it was going to sort of overlap and overline a little bit, which was good. And I get sort of this tiger effect. Again, I've chosen these because my oldest daughter is very much into leopard print clothing, tiger print clothing, so it kind of really reminds me of her. The next thing I'm doing is drawing in some eyes. So this is something I wanted to do. A lot of the face figures you can see on the opposite page as well all have their eyes closed. So I wanted to have a play with actually keeping the eyes open. So I've just continued with that lower lid, creating an almond shape on top and then drawing in an open eye. So I like the fact that the child figure is sort of looking out at the page, whereas the mum's sort of almost whispering in their ear of, you know, you'll be okay, you can do this, which I really like. So it's not very often when I'm journaling do I necessarily have a story in my head, but these two characters just really did something for me. I must have been feeling very sentimental about my children that night when I was doing this page, I think. Once I'd done that, I decided I wanted to put a quote on this page, sort of about all of these things, and about always being there for my child, and to help them out. So I'll always be there to look over you, not in a creepy way. It does sound kind of stalkerish, but you know, I'll always be there to help you when you need me type way. And I must have been having a bit of a Harry Potter moment with the always. So once I've done the white, I'm going in with a warm grey alcohol marker and putting a drop shadow, and you can see that instantly makes it much easier to read the text on the page. So it's something I've been using a little bit more of. If you've been following my channel for a while, you always know that I put a drop shadow on my letters. You know, if I'm doing white, I'll put a black. If I'm doing black, I'll put a white. But what I've found is, and if you've got the extra time to do it, by putting that third colour, the warm grey, with an alcohol marker which is translucent, it just helps push it out even further from the background. And because it is translucent, you can still see what's happening in the background. It does act like a real shadow, and it's not quite as harsh as a black pen. So it's just a really lovely way to create on your page. So once I finish that, I'm having a bit of a dry just to make sure it all isn't going to smear on me. And then I'm going to go in with my black pen, I think, if I can find it. Yep. I have this, it's a black ink pen with carbon ink in it. So carbon ink is permanent. Usually I would use my Posca paint pen, but this is just even finer, and because the letters were quite fine on this, I just want a really fine line of black. So I'm just going around all the letters to give that. So again, from a distance on the camera, it's a bit hard to see what difference that makes, but just having that little bit of pure black on the page really helps pop it out from the background. So here you can see how that shadowing and then re-stenciling over the top helps blend it all together, and the final page. So get your hands on a face stencil. If you're not sure how to do face shading and so on, it's just a really great way to make sure that everything comes together really easily for you. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye for now.